people in your breakout group. If you have any issues, please use the chat to tell us about those issues. Participate, collaborate, be flexible. Please be careful to only edit slides as directed, and minimize your Zoom, but keep all the other tabs open. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm Jennifer Hine.
I'm Lauren Hill.
And I'm Kim Jones.
Welcome to our session. During our session, we're going to be showing you some engaging techniques, tools to use with your students to make online learning interactive. Okay, so for those of us just joining us, these are the norms for our session. Our session is already being recorded. Mute your microphones, your video. Let us know in the chat about issues. Also, we will be using the chat for questions. So we have, you can post any questions you have in the chat, or once you get into our Google slide presentation, you could use the last slide, which is our virtual parking lot. We will have a short amount of time at the end for questions, but we will definitely follow up with questions if we don't get to them, and our emails are in the last slide. All right, here we go. So I put the link to my Google slide presentation in the chat. Please go ahead, meet me on slide 4 in the Google slide presentation. I'm going to stop sharing now and move to the Google slide presentation. Can you give us a thumbs up or a happy emoji, or let us know? You can turn your mic on if you're not in the Google slide presentation. Everyone should be there now. All right. So today, during our presentation, we're going to be incorporating best practices to support English learners in distance learning. So there's some great research out there, and we've put some links and resources in the last few slides. One of the sources I looked at is WestEd, and they talked about 4 different strategies that are very important to boost the interactive focus in instruction. And they talk about how don't throw out all the good instructional practices you're using in face-to-face. Figure out, how can I use those supports and scaffolds and cooperative learning and all academic language, all those things that we know help students learn? How can we use that in distance learning? And one way is to boost our synchronous learning time by doing lots of modeling, scaffolding, interactive activities, and adding on to communicate in other ways. Secondly, during our classes, to use structures for student collaboration, using cooperative learning, providing tasks that require student collaboration. Thirdly, in general, we're providing opportunities for student collaboration because we know that is what our learners really miss, and we know that's how we learn as social beings. Lastly, during our instruction, we're incorporating reading and writing into our activities. So this is the purpose of today's workshop. We will be exploring different scaffolds and strategies that we use in face-to-face, but we will be using these as we use digital tools. We're focusing in particular on using Google Slides, Google Jamboard, and Pear Deck. And our goal is to increase interaction and engagement for English learners. we're going to start with a Google Jamboard introduction. So, and this is linked on slide 4 in the Google slide presentation. When you click on it, sorry, slide 7, when you click on slide 7, it will take you to the Google Jamboard. When you're in there, we're going to be trying it out. I know some of you probably already tried out Jamboard. It's a very interactive tool, and it does provide a different way for students to interact if they are shy about using the camera, or it's another way. They can add images, and as well as doing sticky notes and writing text. So we're going to do a short activity about food we like, a social language topic, and in breakout groups. And then we'll talk a bit about how can you use Jamboard, another strategy called list group name, to use higher order thinking and to increase the interaction of your students. So right now, I would like you to go to slide 7 and please click on the Google Jamboard link. And meet me in slide 1. Awesome, I see a lot of people there already. So I just want to take a moment to go over some of the features of Google Jamboard for those people who have not used it before. One thing that's really important as we will be going back and forward in Jamboard is that the way to navigate it or to advance is at the top. So if you take your cursor and you put it up to the top to the right of the frame number, you'll notice it says next frame, and then the reverse arrow would be the previous frame. So that's an important feature. As you'll notice that you can use, if you look up at the left of your screen, you'll notice there's a way to use different kinds of text to change the color, to align. And then please go ahead and take your cursor to the left-hand side of your screen. And as you hover over the tools, you'll see there's a pen, there's an eraser. The select tool is you'd go to that when you're using one tool and you want to switch to kind of get away from the tool you're using. Then the tool that we're going to be using today is a sticky note. I'm going to show this tool as we're here. So you can you click on the sticky note. You won't see this yet, but I'm going to write the name of a food I like. And then I'm going to click save. And you'll see the sticky that I created. And this is the activity that we're going to be doing shortly. Then, if you take your cursor back to the icon of add image, this is very cool. You can see here that you could upload an image, you could do a Google image search, you could add a photo, you could take images from your Google Drive. As we're doing the next activity, feel free to add images of food that you like. Next, there is a tool which has shapes, and I've used this to create headings, as well as you could use it in many ways to teach many concepts. There are several different shapes in there. Another tool that you will be using is the text tool. So when you click on this, you create a text box, and then you can choose, if you go up to the font, you can choose which color, and then type in that box. So this would be an alternative to using stickies. And then you click on the text tool and you can type in that box. And then there's also a laser. So this is kind of the pointer. You could show things on the screen. So we're going to go ahead and start our first breakout groups. And we're going to maybe stay in there about 8 minutes. And you're going to be in one of 3 breakout groups. First, you're going to generate different food that you like and post it. in your breakout group. And we will be in the different breakout groups. I am going to stay with group 1. Lauren will be with group 2. And Kim will be with group 3. So Chris, could you please start the breakout group?
So the breakout room should be open. Please let me know if you're having any issues.
So if you're in group 1, let me know if you're here. All right, I see Anonymous Wolf. Okay, if you're in breakout group 1, just go ahead and unmute yourself and look at frame 1.
Jen, it doesn't look like you've joined the breakout room.
Oh. All right, so.
And Kim as well.
Okay, join. We are now going to meet back in the Google slide presentation, and I'm turning it over to Lauren. Meet on the Google slide 9.
Okay, I'm just going to be 1 minute while I open my presentation.
Okay. Lauren's going to show us a different digital tool, Pear Deck, and show how she uses it to make her lessons more interactive and provide scaffolding.
Oh, wait, you know what I have to do? So, okay, so welcome. This is my Pear Deck. Give me 1 second and I'm going to launch the Pear Deck and I'll explain what you have to do when I launch it. I'm going to be dropping a link into the chat bar and you are going to click on the link to enter the interactive slides. So here you can see that I'm about to launch this, and you can get yourself a free Pear Deck account through Google, and this can be done that way. This can be done through that. Our district has purchased, or our principal had purchased Pear Deck for us, so we have a couple additional functions that we can use on ours, but you can get it for free. Okay, so I'm starting the lesson and I'm choosing instructor paste, but you can choose student paste. And I am launching my presentation. It usually doesn't take this long.
That's okay.
But Pear Deck, has anybody here, if you want to just turn on your mics, has anybody here used Pear Deck before? Oh, there it goes. Got it. Okay, so I'm going to, and this is the, you could either have your students log into joinpd.com and enter the code, or what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it really easy. And I am just going to actually, I don't know where the link is. Jen, do you see it? Maybe that's one of the functions with the paid program, but I see somebody has already entered. Okay, so I'm going to put in joinpd.com into the chat section. Or Jen, can you do that?
So it's on the joins slide. If you go back one, there's a small link that says give students the link, or small button.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Jen, can you put that in the chat bar, please? Or Kim, just joinpd.com. And then the join code would be DEHXJE. Okay, so it looks like I see 3 students are connected, so I'll wait another minute or so. Joinpd.com and enter DEHXJE. Determined elephants, honestly, X-ray juicy elephants is the code. Okay, so this is Pear Deck. Welcome. This is a tool that I use to create and use like to make interactive slides in Google. Like I said, you need to create an account to use. You can ask questions to check in and assess learning of your students. Pear Deck has the ability to allow students to write, draw, drag, and drop, or a multiple choice. This is another reason that I like it for our L's who are sometimes hesitant to type, but this way they could participate by clicking and dragging. They have the multiple choice option. I love that there are lots of templates available for teachers. You can use at any point during the lesson, which I will show you in a few minutes. And it can also be used during synchronous and asynchronous instruction. That was kind of what popped up before. When I chose instructor-led, you can also choose student-led and just have students do it on their own as kind of like a check-in. And you can even like produce takeaways so that students, parents, and families can see what they've done. And most of all, I love Pear Deck because it helps to engage all students. Okay, so you should be looking at your slides in the presentation. What you can't see is my teacher dashboard. And that's something that when you first start using Pear Deck, you will have to get used to that. Toggling between the different slides, and sometimes depending on what you're doing, you could have to toggle between even like 3 slides. So I'm gonna move on to the next slide, and this is going to be an interactive one. So you will be able to answer a question here. So the next slide, it says share one glow and one grow from your experience distance learning so far. And by the way, you're going to notice that people are appearing, their names are appearing as animals. That is because we're doing this as Google and just like a random free Google site. So people just come in as anonymous. And as you're doing that, I have the ability to give feedback. So you'll notice on your end that I am starring your answers. Okay, I can star answers. I can also comment on your answers. So I'm going to show one person how I can comment so you can see. And then after this, I will show you what your responses look like. So the fish, you'll see what I mean by that. The person who's a fish here says one glow is being creative and seeing others during the pandemic. One grow is mastering technological transitions and challenges. And I'm going to leave feedback for this person. I agree. So that's one reason that I love Pear Deck. It makes it very, very, very easy to give feedback in here. Okay. Oops. I'm trying to move this Zoom chat bar. Okay, so now I can show the responses of people. You won't be able to see students' names when I show this, okay, but I can see everybody's names. I can see who's responding. So I can show it as a list, or I can show it as like a grid layout like this, so you can see everybody's response. All right, the next slide that I'm going to go to, I don't want you to write anything on that one. I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. So the next slide is one of the templates that I was discussing before. So this is one that I used with my L's over the summer in an English language development group. the thing that I love about this slide is that I can go in and edit it. I'm not in the edit mode right now, so I don't have the ability to show you right now, but I went in and I deleted that thing at the top that says story map, and I just put sequence. We were talking about sequencing and putting a story in order from beginning, middle, and end. So I put the sequence at the top, and then I deleted the headings for setting, characters, and I just put 3 big boxes that said beginning, middle, and end, and students were able to type directly into that, and it made it so easy. The next slide was another activity that I did with my English language development group over the summer. And actually, this is an idea I got directly from our county, who provided some workbooks. And I just took the information from the workbooks and I put it into the Pear Deck. We were working on comparing and contrasting. So I had students look at the pictures, take a long look at them because they're blown up here on this screen, and think about how are they the same and how are they different. Then on the next slide, another reason I love it, this template again. I was able to go in and get the Venn diagram template, and we talked about what a Venn diagram is, and students were able to type directly into that. So you can go ahead and type the similarities and differences between the cat and the dog, and I will be able to see your answers.
I'm afraid I can't see the slides. Where are they?
Oh, you can't see them?
I can't see them. I wonder what's happening.
I saw somebody else. So I see, Do you have to toggle into a different window?
Maybe I have to, but I don't know what to do.
Do you need to get back into the presentation?
Yeah, what I can see is Pear Deck add on to Google Slides. I still have.
Oh, okay. So you have to go to a different website. You have to go to joinpd.com.
I see. Can you put that in the chat box so I just click there? Okay?
Yeah, I was having trouble actually finding the chat box because I have so many things open.
So Chris put it in the chat box.
Okay,
And then
thank you so much.
after you've gone there, I'm going to type the join code that you'll need to enter. It'll ask you for a code. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Jen.
Sure.
I have so many things open right now. That's one of the hard things about, that's why I agreed with the person who was posting before. I don't have a ton of experience or any experience doing this through Zoom. And that's what I'm struggling with right now, finding the chat bar. Okay, so I see one person typed in in the red box, the cat is slouching and the dog is walking, and then the difference is one is wearing a scarf, one is wearing a ribbon. So again, I can see all of your answers. I have the ability to comment on them. If I have the ability to hide a response, so if you have like a student who does something that they shouldn't, you can hide that response pretty easily. And again, I could show it as a grid layout, or I don't know why you would do this for this one, but you could do an overlay. And there are some really neat templates where the overlay would be really cool. Like if you're showing a map and you want to see the different places people have gone. I've seen that done with the overlay. And then the next slide, I'm going to move along. So this is an example of how I can just add in a prompt whenever I want. So you'll notice that this slide does not have a prompt, but I can go in to my Pear Deck add-on and just click new prompt. So I'm going to click new prompt, and I want people to answer using text. So I'm going to click the text button, and boom, now you have the ability to type your answers. And you can see those sentence frames there and the pictures, which makes it really easy. So if you want your students to type in complete sentences, you can just say, look at the sentence frames. And I see a toucan is writing.
Brennan,
Yes.
did you want to show your teacher screen with us or not, so that we can see what you're seeing?
Oh, the show responses?
Yeah.
Right, she would have to go back into Zoom to do that.
Yes.
Oh.
That's,
So
Well,
that's
never mind.
yeah, that's the tricky part with this. Like, it will take you a couple of times to get used to toggling between the instructor dashboard and then your own dashboard. And I know some teachers who like use their phones, so they don't have to constantly toggle between the two. But I've gotten, I don't know, I feel like I've become proficient in this. Cat and dog both love their owners. That's sweet. The cat and dog are the same because they both have blank. Okay. Very good. Okay, I'm going to move to my next slide. And this is just a simple text one. And I'm asking you, I might use Pear Deck. I'm sorry, I can't even see my slide. I might use Pear Deck to increase interaction with my students how might you use Pear Deck to increase interaction with your students? And if you do decide to use Pear Deck, I would really encourage you to go and play around in here and see all of the neat templates that are already available to you, because it really helps.
Could you do, is it possible for you to take a screenshot of your teacher's view and then just text that to us in
Oh,
Zoom?
yeah, I can do that.
I really don't know what you're seeing. So the text appears in real time on your slide as they're typing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I can see exactly what you're typing.
Yeah, pretty cool. Mm.
Yeah, it is really a neat tool. I've really enjoyed it. Okay, so one person said asking questions about images, generating conversation topics, or responding to artwork. To allow students to express opinions and comment on photos. And in the next slide, I'm going to show you the functionality that I was talking about, where you could, like, students don't have to just write things in. There are plenty of opportunities for students to draw, for students to click and drag, for students to do multiple choice. So this next slide asks you, how are you feeling about incorporating Pear Deck slides into your lessons? And all you have to do is slide the little meter to show how you're feeling. So, okay, someone said, I love it, I'm so excited. And this is the overlay. So I can see everybody's response overlaid on top of each other. So it looks like most people are excited about it. And I have one person saying, I'm interested, but I still have some questions about how it works.
So Lauren, I think we need to move on back to the main presentation so that Kim can
Oh, yes.
go
Okay,
through.
so please meet us on slide 17 in the Google Slides presentation.
And I put the Google slide link for those in the chat also, in case you don't have that open anymore.
So does this work at all on phones? Is there anything?
Yeah, it should.
Yeah, can they type into a box on a phone?
They should be able to, yeah. I don't know how it works on the phone because I've never done it on the phone.
Yeah, I have
But-
to try it because, I mean, it's really some nice stuff here. I just would have to test it, I guess, see how it works on the phone.
Yeah, there is a Pear Deck app that they can download.
Okay, that sounds like, yeah, they'd have to have an app. Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, Kim.
Ms. Kim, and I'm an ESOL teacher in Fairfax County at a school that uses the co-teaching model. And so today we're going to be looking at the picture word inductive model using Google Slides as our technology and distance learning. So please advance to slide 18. On this slide, well, these days we're realizing that as we engage in our students with distance learning, that technology makes our teaching possible. So combining great pedagogy with technology allows us to reach and engage our students. Today we'll be learning about using Google Slides to teach the picture word inductive model. And it sounds like some of us are having challenges with technology as our students may not have laptops. All they have is phones to work with. So the picture word inductive model incorporates all 4 language domains. It builds academic vocabulary. You can use it to teach grammar, and it can be used with any level ESOL student or grade level. And then Google Slides, of course, has so many advantages. It provides a platform. Hold on. Sorry. I'm getting text messages all over. It provides a platform for student communication and collaboration and voice. Also, Google does provide professional development, which is nice. And Google Slides can be accessed even if a student does not have internet connection at home.
The Google Assistant has been disabled by your account administrator.
What?
Now you're in trouble.
Sorry, that's my teaching assistant. Okay, so now we are on slide 19. And you will see there's a picture here that has been labeled. And this is, so this is the step 1 in the model. You would choose, the teacher would choose a picture, and the teacher and the students would label the objects in the picture and give the picture a title. Step 2 is to complete the chart that's labeled has, is, and can. And you'll see that chart soon. And then step 3 is to write a sentence with the words that you've generated together. And then you'll notice at the bottom of the picture, there are some higher level thinking sentence stems that you can use with your students as well. So let's go to slide 20. And on this slide, this is an example of step 1 of the picture word inductive model. I chose this one because it's content related, it's 3rd grade ancient cultures. And so here, the teacher facilitates brainstorming with words that can be used to label the picture and models adding them to the picture. And so this is a way to elicit academic vocabulary if students have already had a little background knowledge already, or you could use it as a formative assessment as well. Beginning Ls would be able to add words like leg or arm or head. So every level of student can participate in this activity. Slide 21, please. So this slide shows steps 2 and 3 of the picture word inductive model. In step 2, this is the is, has, and can chart. And for example, Isis is, so I'm looking at the words in the first column on the left. She is a goddess. She is looking at Hathor, and she is sitting. And you would continue just to complete the chart together. And then on step 3, you would use all of those words that you have generated together to create a sentence. So on slide 22, This is something you could differentiate this way for your students, maybe your intermediate students, and provide a word bank for them to use as they label the picture. And the top, that little icon with the 4 people at the top and the circle, that when the students see that they will know that this is an activity that they will be doing together. They will be collaborating with their classmates. And slide 23, this is another example of how you can differentiate for your students. This might be used with level 1 or 2 students. So they would drag, actually, they would drag the can I do that? So cartouche, they would just drag the words from the left and put it onto the picture. Yes, exactly. Good job, somebody's doing it.
Great.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys are going to have a chance to do this too in just a moment here. So now we are going to go on to our slide 24. Now's your chance to try this out. So you're going to be able to choose between these 2 pictures. Choose a picture, and you are going to complete steps 1, 2, and 3. And this may be the last time I see you, unless I pop in at the end. I'm not sure, but I really hope you enjoy this activity and that you can try it with your students. And Jen's going to explain in detail here.
Okay, please meet me on slide 25. And by the way, this is a template from Dr. Teresa Wills, who has some awesome Google Slide templates and presentations that are in our references. So you're going to be in, actually, 4 random groups, 3 to 5 people, and we'll have about 4 minutes to get started on this activity. When you go into your group, and Chris is going to start the groups shortly, the first thing you're going to do is decide, do you want to work on the picture 1 with the large cat and the zebra and the motorcycle? I'm not sure if that's a lion or not. Or the picture with the butterfly and the flowers. You're going to decide which one to work on, and then you'll notice that in our Google Slide presentation, there are multiple sets for each of these pictures with step 1, step 2, and step 3. So we'll give you about 4 minutes to work on this, and then we're going to meet back for our wrap-up and questions in the Google Slide presentation. So Chris, could you start the breakout rooms, please?
Breakout rooms are open.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Let's go ahead as we have, 3 minutes left, I think, Chris. Let's go ahead and please ask any questions you have at this time. Let us know if anybody does not have the link to the Google slide presentation, because everything is in there. I know we were rushed today and we didn't get to talk about everything, but everything is in there, also our contacts. So any questions at this time? Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Keep doing that. This is like any Google Cloud document. I mean, we would have to sort of invite the students into it first.
Yes.
Yeah, so
But
once they're in,
also, but actually no, Dan, because for this presentation, this is to do with your settings. So I created this presentation so anyone with a link can edit it.
oh, anyone with
So
the link.
it's how you set it up when you share it. Also, it's how you set up, if you do it in your, if you have an institutional Google, it's not going to work. We all had to use our personal Google accounts for the purpose of this presentation.
Why
But it
doesn't
would be
institutional
different,
work?
you know, if you have a Google Classroom.
Why doesn't the institutional work? Can't you just, you can't have anybody with
Well,
a link on there?
Actually, on my institution, you can, but when you go to share, you can change, it'll say anyone with a link like Georgetown University or anyone on the internet. So you can, I think, right? Is that right, Jennifer?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So like within your context, it's much easier when you're working within your Google Classroom or your community
Yeah,
at the institution, then that will be fine. But when you're inviting people to come in from other places, like today, we have people from a lot of places, you would have to share it differently. And that's
Yeah.
also why all of you had those weird icons like anonymous zebra or anonymous, because when that goes back to your settings, you have to put in your settings, you have to allow people, you can't require their names.
yeah. Well, if somebody wanted to bomb your task, you know, you could just kick them out right away, I guess.
You could, and in your own institutional setting, it's probably not going to be a problem because you'll have those controls.
Yeah. All right.
Good question.
I had a quick question. Thank you so much. A lot of great ideas and resources here. I came a little late. I was just curious, Jamboard, it looks similar to this, to Google Slides? Is it just more user-friendly for students? Because I see on the side you have the panel, add image, add drawing.
It's different in that it's more of it's a good way for brainstorming, and for students can work to collaborate on a frame together, and you could put a prompt and you can create, you know, you can add images, you can add stickies, which is something that you can't do in Google Slides so easily. You can also move things around. So what we did was we generated foods that we like, and then we could talk about those foods, and we can move them into categories and talk about which things go together. So also you could use it as a warm-up.
I'll tell you what's really great about this to me is that, you know, I've been looking for a way to incorporate more images from Oxford Picture Dictionary and Where's Waldo. The students really love those, and you just throw it into a Google slide and they can add, you know, words, label things, and then language experience approach where, you know, you're doing brainstorming and writing together. This is great because they can produce sentences that other students who are having a little trouble can just copy and use in the story. We can write a story together, which, you know, it's a really nice thing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very interactive.
Yeah. All right. Well, great.
Again, Lauren and Kim, thank you so much for leading us through this. For everyone, we have our exhibitors and social hour coming up. So please feel free to check out some of the organizations that are supporting today's conference, and also the various SIGs to have a networking opportunity with people in your particular field. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. my goodness. Thank you for all your help, Chris.
Thank you.
I think, we had people coming in after the beginning too, and they got a little lost. I don't know if they really got a chance to Jamboard or not. Kim, I can't hear you.
Oh, I just turned my mic back on. So Chris probably wants us to get out of here.
Yeah.
But thank you, Chris, so much.
Yeah, thank you. Hope you
Do
enjoyed
you
it.
guys want to do a Google Meet, Jen and Kim? Do you want to quickly meet for a few minutes?
Yeah. How do we do that?
Yeah.
Do you
I
have
can,
the link?
I'll send you an invite.
Thank you again, Chris.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Bye.